You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Local governments around Wisconsin are getting $1.5 billion in shared revenue from the state. Nearly $300 million of that is coming from the new shared revenue formula put in place last year. Another $10 million is coming from Wisconsin's new tax on cable TV. Some of the new shared revenue dollars are earmarked for first responders. Efforts to protect the Mississippi River Basin from farm runoff have largely failed. Misa Khan is the former policy director for the Mississippi River Network. She says there needs to be more collaboration between states.
The way that we operate right now is very much a state-by-state kind of choose-your-own-adventure.
As much as 80% of the nitrogen flowing down the Mississippi comes from farms and livestock operations. Donald Trump has claimed the Biden-Harris administration let more than 400,000 convicted criminals into the U.S. But is that true? Here's Tricia Young.
In Prairie du Chien, Donald Trump claimed Kamala Harris let in over 425,000 convicted criminals. However, ICE says that figure covers non-citizens convicted of crimes over the past 40 years, both before and after entering the U.S. Most of these individuals entered before the Biden administration. Research shows undocumented immigrants are not more likely than native-born Americans to commit crimes. I'm Tricia Young for Wisconsin Watch.
Wisconsin prisons are no longer accepting donations of used books. That's because secondhand books are used to smuggle drugs behind bars. The move has its critics. A nonprofit called Wisconsin Books to Prisoners says the decision limits inmates' access to information and does nothing about other ways prisoners get a hold of drugs. Candlelight hikes return to Wisconsin state parks for 4 weeks starting this weekend. Most events include pumpkin carving, campfires, and more. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WRCE News, I'm Joanne Krulotz. The 102nd Ithaca School Fair and Homecoming will be held Saturday. Students and residents alike are able to show off their entries. Melissa Sprecher is the Agriculture Education Instructor and FFA Advisor at the Ithaca School District.
There's a few places where only the juniors, we call it the junior show, which is kids that go to school there. So 4K through high school. And that's the livestock is basically, we just have those entries. But for all the things in the gym, so everything from cooking, canning, scrapbooking, sewing, Legos, woodworking, vegetables, farm crops, all of that is open to our area too. So the people who have graduated or people from the area can enter. And we encourage that. We love to have that gym just full of things.
Non-animal exhibits may be dropped off in the gym today from 2 to 7. Those planning to show livestock should be in place down by the old basketball court at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce and Johnson Financial Group have announced the top 4 products moving on in the 9th annual Coolest Thing Made in Wisconsin contest. The competition highlights the state's nearly $72 billion manufacturing industry and the high-tech, high-skill, and high-pay career opportunities available within the sector. The finalists are military medals and insignia from Metalcraft Mint Incorporated of Green Bay, Jolly Good Soda from Cryer Foods of Random Lake, Revo from Vulture Systems of Menominee Falls, and X739 Signature Series lawn tractor from John Deere of Horicon. The final round of voting to determine the coolest thing made in Wisconsin began Thursday. Individuals can vote once per day per device until noon Thursday, October 17th. The winner will be crowned at WMC's Business Day in Madison that same day. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin received the American Farm Bureau Federation's Friend of Farm Bureau Award, recognizing her steadfast commitment to Wisconsin farmers and rural communities. AFBF gives the award to members of Congress who were nominated by their respective state farm bureaus and approved by the AFBF Board of Directors. Senator Baldwin was given the award based on her legislative efforts to support Wisconsin's farm families and agriculture economy. Senator Baldwin has introduced several pieces of legislation backed by the Wisconsin Farm Bureau. A new report shows Wisconsin is seeing dam failures more frequently, and another sign that the state is seeing stronger storms. The Wisconsin Policy Forum released findings Thursday that show Wisconsin recorded 34 dam failures from 2000 through 2023, which was the second highest total for that period, behind only South Carolina. Large item pickup in Richland Center will be held Saturday. Items included for pickup are couches, chairs, tables, carpeting, entertainment centers, and such. Items that will not be picked up include lumber or construction materials, brush, leaves, yard waste, microwaves, TVs, AC units, any computer equipment or appliances. Please have items to the curb by 6 a.m. Large items are not to be placed at the curb at any other time of the year unless a pickup tag has been purchased from the clerk treasurer's office. Town and Country Sanitation will be placing dumpsters at the Richland Center landfill for appliances. There will be no charge to dispose of regular appliances at the landfill. However, there will be a fee for disposal of microwaves, televisions, air conditioners, and computer equipment. Retail services at all Wisconsin post offices will be closed Monday in recognition of Columbus Day. And that's what you need to know. I'm Joanne Krulotz.
The Bucks and the Lakers put on a show. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, it was just a preseason game, but the Bucks and the Lakers faced off at Fiserv Forum. Giannis against LeBron. Giannis with 20 points in 20 minutes of playing time. Bucks head coach Doc Rivers.
Giannis got out running, and then the starters came back in and kept playing well. You need that sometimes, and I thought that happened. I love how we play Bobby. Like, he knows it coming in. Vinny Johnson or whoever else you want to name, the great guys coming off the bench, that we're going to you. Be responsible with it. He made a couple good passes too, but we want him to be aggressive.
The Lakers held on to win 107-102. NFL, the Packers had to place tight end Luke Musgrave to IR due to a lingering ankle injury. The team signed Falcons tight end John Fitzpatrick off Atlanta's practice squad. College football, the Badgers play Rutgers tomorrow in New Jersey at 11 a.m. Head coach Luke Fickell says the younger players now will bode well for the future.
This is what it takes to continue to build a program. It doesn't always happen that way. Guys go down and guys don't take advantage of their opportunities. So there's some really good situations for young guys. I think that'll bode really well for us in this stretch.
That's the Badgers head coach Luke Fickell. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. There are no anticipated mega blockbusters opening this weekend, but there are some solid, well-reviewed films coming to the big screen. For your holiday horror pleasure, leading the way is the third installment in the Terrifier franchise. Terrifier 3 follows the survivors of a Halloween massacre by Art the Clown in Terrifier 2. The film is pulling an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. For some good family fare, check out Piece by Piece, which tells the story of musical artist Pharrell Williams' life using Lego animation. The film is directed by Won't You Be My Neighbor's Morgan Neville, and it's pulling an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. And for those of you interested in the behind-the-scenes drama leading up to the first ever episode of Saturday Night Live back in 1975, it's Saturday Night, which offers an appearance by Wisconsin's own Willem Dafoe. Saturday Night is currently rating a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go to the movies. Guy Ritchie is attempting to line up some heavy hitters for his new project. The director of films like Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is in talks with Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, and Tom Hardy to star in his new series for Paramount Plus, tentatively called Guy Ritchie's The Associate. Deadline.com reports that the hour-long drama will tell the story of two generations of gangsters in the UK. There is no release date yet set. Martin Scorsese is getting on in years and makes very long films. The 81-year-old director has been in this racket for 60 years and says he has no intention of slowing down. Deadline reports that Scorsese has put his project about Frank Sinatra on hold while he works on a movie about Jesus. The director says he was inspired to tell the story of Jesus after meeting the Pope at Vatican City last year. He says he is hoping God gives him strength to finish both films. It's been 30 years since the film Speed was released. In honor of the milestone, Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock reunited in Los Angeles at the Egyptian Theater for an anniversary screening. The film made Bullock a star. She was joined after the screening by Reeves for a Q&A. Reeves talked about working with Dennis Hopper and of the professionalism shown by Jeff Daniels, and at one point said, "We knew we were making something wacky." I guess that means he's proud of the film. If you're feeling nostalgic and aren't into Halloween movies, check out the re-release of The Nightmare Before Christmas, which actually might remind you of Halloween. The film hits theaters this weekend for a limited run. The Tim Burton film was originally released in 1993. The stop animation film will be playing on over 1,000 screens across America this weekend. The film received a 95% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 92% with audiences. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We have one more warm, summery day before fall kicks in this weekend, and we may actually have some frost or even a freeze by early next week. Today, partly cloudy with a high in the low 80s. Tonight, mid-40s. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy with a high in the mid-60s, upper 50s by Sunday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside now, it's 46.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.